Hannah.
So this week we wanted to start incorporating something a little new to our Living the Journey posts, and we were brainstorming about like little fun things to share about during the weeks, just so that we're still staying active with you guys, still kind of letting you guys see the day-to-day stuff that we do other than just the long posts. So one of the things that we were talking about, or we were just brainstorming, and Jenna brought up like, oh, that she was going to be making moon water, and I was like, okay, I immediately thought some sort of fun moonshine-ish alcoholic drink or something like that, but I was wrong.
It's not an alcoholic drink, but you can add moon water to your alcoholic drink to make them even that much more powerful.
All right, there you go. So there it is. No, but so I was intrigued when you started talking to me about this, and every time you have something new that I feel like I'm learning, which is everything, I'm like, hold on, let's put a camera in front of it and let's learn about this together, because it's part of, and you're I mean, this is all still new to you too.
Yeah,
so you incorporating this into your actually putting it into play and me learning something from it is exciting. So I wanted you to give us all a little bit of background on what the moon water is, what inspired you to go about it, and what we're gonna do today.
So last week I was over at my parents' house for Thanksgiving, and my mom had this big glass jar filled with water.
Okay.
And it was just sitting in the refrigerator, but my parents aren't the type to just keep water, like they use the filter system. So to see water in the fridge, I was like, what's this about? Like, it's taking up a lot of space, one, and the casseroles aren't fitting. So what's the deal with this jar?
I saw it on your Snap, or on your story, so and I thought like, oh, okay, you're drinking like a drink or a mixed drink or something.
No.
I saw like it was
typically,
so nice.
Typically, yes, but no, not in that moment. Yeah. But my mom was like, oh, it's moon water. And I was like, moon water?
Yeah.
She said she made it last full moon.
Okay.
So with my, my newfound love of crystals and rituals and just discovering different ways to be spiritual and to practice these things, I've kind of drawn my mom into it also.
I was going to say, you kind of started a trend here, right?
Yeah, so she happened to fall upon this moon water before I did. So she inspired me. Like, I've taught her a lot of things about, all of this stuff, but she actually showed me how to do it. So I thought that was really cool. It was a mother-daughter bonding moment.
Well, what's cool is that like you kind of inspired that in her, and now she's taking it. She's taking it a little deeper.
I think it's so
now
cool.
everybody's learning off each other.
I think
Shout
it's
out
so
to your
cool.
mom. Shout out to
hey mom, thank you mom for inspiring me to do this. But so since we started practicing more spiritual practices, since I tried to connect more with myself and the world around me, part of that is doing moon rituals.
Okay.
And it's just a way for me to stay connected to the earth. I mean, the moon is a part of our everyday existence. Yeah. Sometimes we don't pay attention to it, or maybe you do. Maybe you've been in love with the moon forever, but it really is part of. It's been a part of our ancestors' life. It's how they kept track of time, and so I try to do the same thing by honoring it as like another season, another chapter. So every moon cycle is just that. It's a chapter,
a new beginning.
Yeah, and so I like to keep track of those things to symbolize different times in my life. So for a full moon, that represents the end of a cycle.
Okay.
Because we started with the new moon and it went through all of its different phases, and now it's full.
Okay.
And that's a good time to reflect. Yeah, you reflect on all the things that you've done this month, like. Did you accomplish what you wanted to accomplish? Or maybe there's some things that you need to let go of so that you can move on.
That's so weird, because we were talking about that stuff, and one of the ones that, I'll be honest, I never really paid attention to the moon in that sense. And I'm attracted to it. I'm more of a night owl, so I love moonlight. I love that whole
See, and I'm sun. Like, I'm so drawn to the sun.
I do. I love sun too. I just feel like it's more like I just resonate more with
that's your energy.
I've always,
you've got that moon energy.
I've always seen it as a little bit more of weird as it sounds, like more romantic, more a little bit more I don't know, easier to maneuver in, but so that's really crazy.
It's so important to pay attention to those things, like what times of year vibe with you, what times of day vibe with you, because then you know how to maybe create different tools around it.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I'm more of a fall, winter, like more like this time of the year is like my vibe. Like it just, once I always kind of, like feel a little bit more like that's my time of the year.
Right.
I don't know.
And for me, my time of the year is summer, spring.
That's funny. Another thing we are opposites in. That's cool though.
Yeah. So if you pay attention to how you jive with different times of day, different circadian rhythms, different
I've never paid
season
attention to
rhythms,
it in that form, but I'm curious to see what that entails.
Everything, and this is why I'm so obsessed with all of this, is like everything is a rhythm.
Yeah.
Everything about life, you have 24 hours in a day. You have 30 days in a month. You have 365 in a year. And so life is all about rhythms.
Yeah.
Even internally, our organs are working in rhythm. Our hormones are working in rhythm. So staying more in sync with those things is really why I'm passionate about celebrating rituals and keeping track of the weather and the moons and the changes in the universe, because it's the more connected you feel, the more in tune you'll be.
I love that. So what's the process then? Like I know there's like a whole thing to it, right?
Yeah. Okay. So as I was diving down the rabbit hole of moon water and looking up what this full moon was going to be, I discovered that we're in a lunar eclipse, or like a partial. It's a partial.
You mentioned that to me this morning for other reasons.
Yes, and so it's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and so I was like, what does that mean in terms of the moon and
its power,
the full moon and its power? So apparently, it's going to intensify the full moon. So the full moon is already pretty intense, and then magnify that with the energy of this lunar eclipse. It's supposed to be very strong.
Okay.
Now, when I say supposed to be, there's like all of the universal alignments and gravitational forces that are beyond me that I can't even begin to explain. But also
like the interpretations of it, right?
Yeah, and so but on that note of like what it's supposed to be astrologically or scientifically, I think it's important to note that whenever you're doing any ritual or anything that you do in life it should be from your intuition. Like go with how you feel.
It's definitely something, like you said, your spirituality. It's kind of like everything else that people draw to for energy, for peace, for power, for some sort of like recharge, so to speak. Whether that be more on a more religious standpoint or more spiritual standpoint, it's all done with whatever you feel is
whatever you
your
feel.
Attention, your
and
heart.
like it goes back to what I was explaining to you, like about paying attention to if you jive with the sun or maybe you jive with the moon. So
there's no right or wrong.
There's no right or wrong. So just because astrology says that you're not supposed to do this or do this, always go with your intuition. Listen to what your gut is telling you to do, because there's probably a reason. We all carry different energy, and the way it interacts with everything is different.
Is there some like any of your personal feeling or anything that's supposed to go into the because I know it's drawing power from the moon, but is there kind of like a more ritual aspect to it that's part of the process?
So what I typically like to do before I'm going to get into a ritual is pray. I pray first. And I like to meditate and get really grounded, get really quiet. And that's what full moons are really good for, is getting really quiet so that you can listen to, get your brain to stop thinking and listen to some of those inner voices. And so I like to do all of that first. And then I'll sage my space. I was going to sage us here.
Yeah.
But
I'll grab it for you.
I won't do it now, but I'll typically light this sage, and just to clear the space, clear the area that you're going to be working in. And so, and then I'll set my water up. I used a small container today because if it's true that this solar energy, or not solar, the lunar eclipse is supposed to be really strong and make the full moon stronger. They say you only need a little bit, because a little bit will go a long way in this lunar eclipse water. So small jar.
So it's not just like using it in smaller doses. It's also creating it into one of those.
Yeah, because you don't need a big batch. Like if it were the full moon water, I would probably make a bigger batch and
What's like the one
drink
you
it.
want,
Yeah, drink it in bigger quantities or use it in bigger quantities because it's not as energetic. It's more gentle.
Okay.
As opposed to this, it's got some more energy to it, some more power, potency.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, I'm just going to be using it in small batches. So using a small amount. But the other thing that I would do when setting this out is put my intention into it. So what is it that I'm trying to accomplish, or what's my goal? Yeah. So that every time that I use this water, for whatever it is, whether I'm making a mixed drink or baking some cookies, or
just using it in a okay,
or putting some in your bath. Every time I use it, I'm gonna come back to that intention and remember, like what this was for.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of forces going on. It's not just the energy. It's also your brain and your beliefs, and it's a
whole lot of energy.
A whole thing.
So you also, and I noticed your crystals out here.
I've been playing with it all this whole time.
Yeah, I've noticed that you have these out here. So how do you incorporate that into like the placement of the water too, or is it part of the process?
So full moon rituals are really good, or full moons are really good to charge your crystals.
Okay.
So that's why I usually start bringing them out, and they start making their way closer to the door during full moons. But also in terms of the water, you can restructure the molecules in the water by putting crystals either around it or in it.
Okay.
So water.
What are we going to be doing? In it?
I'd go all in.
Fair enough.
If it's an option, I will go all in.
That's right.
But yeah, the reason that happens is because we're putting this crystal, which is from nature, in the water, and so it's going to vibrate with the water and change the molecules that it's made of. So it brings the water more to its pristine form versus like,
filtered with other stuff.
We typically get our water from the manguera, or pipes, or
through a filtration system. Yeah.
So it gets further and further away from its natural state. So by putting it in harmony with like a crystal that's from nature, and all these crystals have different vibrations, it's gonna make it more like its crystal form.
Perfect. I'm excited. All right, cool.
Yeah, so
we
good
we're
stuff.
gonna get this all set up and able to go get charged up for tonight and be able to use for our super moon powers.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too, and thanks again
Yes.
for showing us something so special to you and meaningful, and kind of like in sharing that with the rest of us. Because like I said, I think all that stuff's very anything that we can do to kind of get another sense of like energy of peace, or of like just a positive, something more positive for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's all coming from a good place. It's nothing witchy or negative or bad.
I was teasing about it.
I know. I told CJ that we were going to be doing like some spells in here, but no, it's all good. It's all about connecting with Mother Nature, with our ancestors, with just peace and positivity and love, and knowing how to harness that.
Everything that you represent.
And spread it back into the world. So thanks for letting me share that with you guys. If you have any rituals that you do, I want to know about them so that maybe I can try them out. There's so many that you can do, and I want to know what's special to you. So share that with me.
Thank you guys, and please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our pages on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find us at Living the Journey RGV. Again, thank you, Miss Jenna, for another inspiring and fun little technique to start incorporating into my new routines. And thank you to you guys for tuning in and for checking us out. And again, like Jenna said, please share any rituals that you guys are practicing soon, and we'll be able to pick up on some of those and incorporate them into our journey.
Happy full moon.
We'll see you guys.